Okay, you're live.
This is the Transportation Committee. It's February 11th. We are resuming our testimony on the miscellaneous DMV bill. And we have Robert Burke here. And Robert, if you could give us your name and your organization, and we're here to listen to your testimony.
Sure. My name is Robert Burke. I am the Director of Veterans Affairs of the state of Vermont. And I apologize because I left my suit coat at home this morning, opting for some little warmer wear, and that one got left behind. So my apologies to the committee. So in regard to Section 723 VSA 378, this is a veteran exemption. No fees, including the annual admission fee required on previous VSA 2822. So these are vehicles which the VA has given a grant to significantly modify or to purchase. So I am in full support of that. My own question is, so there already exists a statute which exempts such vehicles from taxation. Is this an addition, or is this going to roll in that one also? So it's.
You want me, Mr. Chair?
Yeah, Damien's here. Go ahead, Damien.
Morning, Bob. I'm sorry.
Damien.
I'm a little under the weather today, so I didn't want to share my germs with anyone. So this is actually that statute. Apparently there had been some question about whether the $2 annual admissions fee was included in the exemption from the fees. And so this is clarifying that that $2 annual admissions fee, which is required under Title III, is also included in that annual exemption of the fees. And this is just for disabled veterans who have received VA assistance with a special vehicle.
Yeah, correct. Under the, certification of VA form 214502.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, yeah. Just wanted clarification on that. There was already something on the books about taxes.
Yeah, so this is the this is the piece that's already in Title 23 on the registration fees and other fees for those vehicles. And apparently the emissions fee is usually tacked onto a registration fee. And the agency was proposing this as a clarification to ensure that there wasn't an argument that they wouldn't have to pay the $89 registration fee, but they would have to pay $2 for the emissions.
Go ahead.
Damien, can you remind me if I think I asked this, I don't know if we got clarification, if the current statute would extend to the EV infrastructure fee?
So I think this would extend to the EV infrastructure fee. I'm looking at the language here. So it says no fees shall be charged an honorably discharged veteran of the U.S. Armed Forces who's a resident for the registration of a motor vehicle. And then if I pull up the EV infrastructure fee statute, give me just a second here. I think that's under registration fees. So I think the argument is there. Let me just.
Would help DMV for us to be clear and say including the registration and
Yeah, it may make sense just to confirm with DMV that they read it that way. And also to confirm that that's your intent here. I'm pulling up 23 VSA 361. So the annual registration fee shall be $89. Biannual fee is $163. Effective this past January, in addition to the registration fee, there shall be an annual EV infrastructure fee. I might clarify the language as I'm looking at it here. To say that the annual emissions fee required pursuant to 3 VSA 2822 M1 and any infrastructure fees, electric vehicle infrastructure fees required pursuant to 23 VSA 361. And then you're crystal clear.
So can you put that together and then we'll send it over to the commissioner for reaction?
Yep, I will go ahead and add that in. And they may say, you don't need that, that's how we're already interpreting it.
But if that would be fine. But we just want to make sure that is the way they're interpreting. So if you made that change, you can you send it over to the commissioner? Or would you rather that we send it over as the committee?
I'm happy to send it over. I'll send that over shortly and just ask them to react to it.
That's fine. Thank you. Go ahead.
Another question for Mr. Burke, but do you know how many vehicles the U.S. Department of Affairs has paid financial assistance to Vermont veterans? Like what the number we're talking about, is it like 2 or 20 or?
I do not know, and DMV posed the same question to me because that form 21-4502 from the federal VA does not flow through us.
Okay.
I don't know if they have a mechanism at DMV to kind of sort their database to see how many grants that they have relieved people of at this point vehicular tax under the program. I'm not sure what they can sort, but they had posed the question to me.
Okay, so maybe that's them.
Yeah.
And do you know if that form, is it the qualification of disability or is it just a veteran?
It's a disability, it's loss of limb, partial limb, single, bilateral. It's a pretty significant.
Okay, so not going to be many.
No.
And God willing, we don't have any more.
Yeah, we don't like it like that.
No, exactly. So it's not, we're not losing a lot of money over it.
Yeah. Serving a good cause.
Correct.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So that's really helpful to know. I didn't realize that it was because of something that happened to them personally. I had thought it was of their financial situation.
No, not at all. It's anybody taking advantage of this is 100 permanent and total disabled.
Wow. Okay.
So it's column mechanism for, acceleration, deacceleration, things such as that. It's significant modifications to a vehicle.
I see.
Per person to be able to drive.
Okay. Thank you for that. And then I thought we had an issue with honorably discharged. We had a concern about that. I highlighted it in a previous conversation. We had, we thought that term might need to be modified.
It's fairly standard in a lot of the state legislation that it's not, my opinion, it's not a hard hurdle to come. The lowest bar would be to say other than dishonorable. Right, so that allows general, honorable, general, other than dishonorable.
So since Jamie did the drafting on this, you got the question that the senator just asked?
Yeah, so for the veterans plate language, we had gone with the other than dishonorable language. And I think the question was, could someone qualify for approval of the financial assistance without being honorably discharged. There were questions about whether, for example, some sort of administrative discharge when you get injured in basic training. Whether that would be something different than an honorable discharge. And might end up disqualifying veterans or individuals who would otherwise qualify because they've been injured during basic training or something like that. Do you know the answer to that, Bob?
I mean, if it was that serious of an injury during basic training, I mean, you'd end up under some sort of medical discharge, medical retirement. That would be odd to end up in that, to end up with a loss of a limb as a result of basic training and get, a general or an administrative discharge. And how that translates into the eligibility for VA benefits would be entirely, it would be a moot point, basically.
Okay. So this language isn't likely to disqualify anyone who would otherwise be eligible.
I don't think so, but I mean, if you want to use the similar to the existing plate registration, other than dishonorable, I'm okay with that.
I'll leave that up to the committee.
So what do we lose if we went with other than dishonorable?
Probably nothing. It's because you'll have to explain it to
And
people in
keep
the
the same
future.
language that we have for the plate. It seems good
Yeah.
to keep the language the same.
Can you do that, Damien? Thank you. I think looks like we've got your point. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And you're generally in support, so.
Absolutely.
So the next testimony is Judge Sonnet, and that's at 11.
Stop election.